Yo, what is up, guys? DBS Podcast, episode 79. 79, 21 episodes away from hang from 100. And that's on Slow Mo's channel. Dang, I'm so jealous. You know what, too, Slow Mo? I was looking at the calendar. My birthday falls on falls on the week that the show's on your channel. So, sir, I'm gonna be looking for a nice gift from you and everything. But
Huh?
I'm just throwing stuff out there. But yo, shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Mitchie Dies a lot. Shout out to Mitchie Pooh. We got
All the Mitchies.
we got a bunch of Mitchies in the
We
chat.
got all the Mitchies
Shout out
out here.
to Kryptonite Souls up in the chat. We really appreciate you guys sticking by or stopping by. But yeah, man, it's been a pretty interesting week. Really,
Spider
nothing.
13 in the house.
Is he? Oh yeah, Spider just showed up. Oh,
Jade the Destroyer in the
Oh,
house.
look, man, all these are all your fans, man. These are all your
Ramon
fans.
Terrell in the house.
Oh man, just started ME2
Writer,
Stellar.
actor, gamer. Yeah, man. We just shout out everybody that comes.
Yeah, you
man.
see your boy Ramon Terrell says he just started ME2 in the Stellar.
Oh, because he knows immediately.
So
The first 10 minutes of Mass Effect 2 tells you it's better than Mass Effect 1.
Facts.
Just right off the break. Just right off the break. It's better. It's better.
Facts, man. But yo, the person you hear right there is none other than the Elden Lord, the man of many legends, and the man that just got the platinum legit on
Yes,
Elden
legit.
Ring. Shout
the
out
most
to
legitest plat that you can get.
yeah.
Look, no shade to those who save scum their way to get the platinum, But I didn't just get all of the endings through New Game Plus and using a character that already had all the stuff and all the best gear and a super high level to get the other endings. No. I had multiple characters. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to build it up for every single one. It was fun though. Fun. I had a lot of fun with it. Got the plat. Now I can focus on other games. I'm focusing now on Sifu. I think kind of like I tried to get back into Sifu. I'm not feeling that right now. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just on like a multiplayer kick right now or something. But I want to beat Sifu and I want to beat Horizon Forbidden West before I move on to Ano Mutonium and
What about
Tiny Tina
wait, I thought Tiny Tina came first. You changed your mind?
Because I'm very very early on in Tiny Tina, but I'm like at the end of Sifu and I'm halfway through Horizon Forbidden West.
Oh man,
Like,
Horizon can wait. It's already been waiting for a lot of people. You can
I
be another
also kind of
person.
want to do a review on the Horizon, so I'm gonna go ahead.
A
and
review?
that.
You know what? Yeah. You could do a review.
Yeah, I'm it's going to be pretty comprehensive, like the Elden Ring review. So.
Oh, how many views you got on that Elden Ring? Like 4,100, something like that.
Like yeah, 4,200, something like
Ooh,
that. Man. Look, this is where I'm kind of, and I should probably do like a channel update video to kind of like update people and get them to understand what I'm doing. But in the future, what I'm going to do with my channel is I'm going to do a lot of like gaming, like knowledge, educational videos that explain things. Like I'm working on a video now to help people understand what game engines are. That's kind of what I'm kind of working on. I kind of like the stuff I did with like the black hair video and teaching people what developers do to make hair in games. I like that stuff. Like that stuff's very fascinating to me, and I've noticed that like those kind of videos get a lot of traction. I think other people like that stuff too. So I'm focusing in on that and then reviews. So that's what my channel will be focused around, like opinionated stuff, educational stuff, and reviews. So
nice.
That's I don't that don't take that as like I'm not gonna ever talk about indies again, but like I here's the thing, right? When I was doing a lot of videos about indie games, it was because I really really loved what I saw from those games and couldn't wait to play them.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been feeling like that with too many indies recently. you know. So it's like I'm not gonna force myself to just have like fake enthusiasm on an indie game just because it looks like it might be pretty interesting, you know. It's gotta be something that I actually want to play.
Right.
And if I don't see any I don't want to play, then it's like, well, what am I gonna make a video off of? So
Yeah.
that's where I'm focusing my channel at. You know, it's we'll see how it goes. But I think anyone, and this is for anyone who's a content creator that's listening to this, or anyone who is follows content creators, like you, any content creator, whatever they make, they should have a passion or a desire and excitement for what they make. If you're making stuff and you're not excited for it, guarantee your audience is going to know that you're not excited for it either. So
Right. No.
that's why. Yep, that's why I just want to put my focus towards stuff that I really care about in gaming, which will mean that I won't be posting as many videos, but when I do post them, they're going to be pretty lengthy, pause, and a lot of content and detail. So, yeah,
Man. Yeah. Shout out to Razar. Shout out to you in the chat, bro.
Rosaire.
Oh, what I say, Razar? Oh yeah, Razar. At least I didn't. At least I didn't bring it up into like 15 syllables,
Oh boy,
like I
Sir
usually do.
It must be on Forte's channel. Typos are everywhere.
But yeah, you gotta find. Listen, that's the whole nature of the show when it's on my channel. You know,
Don't pretend like you do it on
some of these
purpose.
typos are on purpose.
No, they're not.
Bad grammar and everything.
Oh, No Man's Sky keep.
Yo, I know.
Rising.
He found he found the missing R. He
It's not
found it.
missing.
It is missing.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is missing.
It's a missing R. It's supposed to be after the U. I did that on. I did that. Actually, I
You
did
did not
that one
do
on
that on
purpose. I did do
No,
that
you
one on
didn't.
purpose. I
No,
did do
you
it on
didn't.
purpose.
I don't. No one.
Okay, that's fine. You ain't gotta believe it. Gotta believe anything I tell you, sir. Just know it's all for entertainment at this point.
Okay, outside of fake intentionally misspelling words in the topics.
In the topic
What you
list.
been up to, man? What you been up to?
Man. Yeah, man. I've been just playing games and enjoying life, and I went back to work this week. I got back to making videos. Made 2 videos this week. That was actually pretty fun. But actually just mostly just trying to get back into the swing of it and stuff. It's been really interesting seeing the reception to just making videos and stuff. People been messaging me saying, "Yeah, man, keep making videos like this and stuff like that." And I was like, "Man, y'all really like this? Video's horrible." But actually, I think the last one I put a real lot of effort into the last one, and now it's like I think it came out really well. Plus, that thumbnail game is like ferocious right now. But yeah, man. Outside of that, man, just enjoying what we've been playing and stuff, and was looking forward to finally getting a chance
What
to.
have you been playing?
I've been playing. I played Destiny. I went back and started trying to get through the Final Fantasy Integrate because I finally started playing the DLC for that.
I forgot to finish the campaign, man.
What?
Blame Elden Ring, man. I'm telling you, Elden Ring messed everything up.
You forgot. How did you forget the? That's like wasn't that like your game of the year or something like that?
What, Elden Ring?
No, not Elden Ring.
The Destiny campaign?
Yeah.
What? No.
The Destiny's campaign is fire,
I
bro.
said that like you offended my mama. Excuse me? No, it definitely not. I'm like halfway through it. I need to just go ahead and just finish it already. Just finish the campaign.
I don't know why you ain't trying to rock with it, man. That's all it is. I understand.
I'm not trying to rock with what? What do you mean?
You want to go play the Division in their mode that they're releasing.
Hey. That stuff is I told you that's NDA stuff, man.
I didn't say what it was. You about to say what it is?
Yes, you were about to say what
No, I wasn't. I wasn't gonna say the name. You heard me say the Division in their whatever.
We shouldn't even be talking about it.
Yeah, we shouldn't. I mean, well, it shouldn't even be a thing.
Why shouldn't it be a
I'm
thing?
just talking, man. Listen, you see, I just do that because it's one of your favorite games. One of your favorite games.
Disrespectful.
No,
It's absolutely
but
disrespectful.
outside of that, man, it's been a good time. Been enjoying just chilling and like I said, I'm spending a lot of time
Chilling?
on the chilling.
You
Eh,
said chilling or
eh,
shilling?
chilling that too.
You've been shilling as well as chilling.
Oh yeah, I've been chilling like I'm you ain't noticed.
Yeah, I did notice actually. I told
Uh,
you about it before the show, but sorry.
yeah, I mean
You said you
sometimes you gotta do that.
no, you don't have to chill.
Yeah, you do. Gotta.
No.
Hey man, it's all about it's about what have you done for me lately.
Okay, Janet.
No, no.
If you're nasty.
Let's get nasty. All right, man. Let's get into the show, man. Welcome to episode 79 of the DPS podcast. Damage per second for the people that don't know what that is. Make sure you check us out on your favorite audio podcast service after this show goes live, more than likely tomorrow or so like that. But outside of that, man, let's get into it. First topic, slow-mo. An interesting one at that. Cyberpunk 2077 hits 18 million sold, and it has a new DLC dropping in 2023. So let's tackle those in that order. How do you feel about the 18 million sold that Cyberpunk 2077 just announced today?
Well, a good 14 to 15 million happened in the first month.
Like
So
the first 3 weeks.
so they only got like 2 million ish since then, which makes sense when the game disappointed so many people. Was a buggy mess. They didn't actually get it fixed until like what a month, like a couple of months ago. So I mean, look, 18 million is it's not telling the whole story. Uh, you know, definitely because
Please do tell.
in a lot of games, it happens like that for a lot of games, right? Like for example, Watch Dogs One outsold Watch Dogs Two, but nobody thinks Watch Dogs One is a better game than Watch Dogs Two. You know, like a game can have a lot of hype and a lot of people will pay for it, but it doesn't mean a lot of people enjoyed what they played. So now that's it. Like Cyberpunk has a decent story. It's a decent game. It's a decent. It's not a terrible game. It's just probably one of the buggiest games that ever existed. And so even with the trailer that you're showing right now, like this isn't in the game.
Right? None of it is.
This trailer is not in the game.
Not representative gameplay.
And that's part of the problem is that like people saw stuff like this and was like, yeah, yeah, like I can't wait to play this. And then you don't get to see your character. Like this scene, if I recall correctly, this scene is in the game in a way, but it's all first person perspective. And it's unfortunate because like when we first saw the game, I remember the first reveal where it was like 40 minutes of gameplay
Mm-hmm.
and it was amazing. And there was like you could grow claws out of your arms. Sertaz says my volume's a little too low. You could turn me up a little bit if you
I
can.
gotcha.
You could like grow claws out of your arms and like scale walls and like it was stuff like that. There was like slow motion, almost like Max Payne slow motion kills and stuff, and it looked amazing. But that wasn't what we got, unfortunately. Like this whole scene here, like it does turn like happen this way, but again, this whole first person perspective, you don't get to see your character. The only time you see your character is when you're looking in the mirror in the bathroom, unfortunately. So look, it's this is probably Cyberpunk should be an example to other developers and publishers how not to showcase your game, how not to put a game out there, s- say a lot of things that you want to do and then don't do them. Like if you're gonna show something in a game, make sure it's gonna be in there because if it's not in there, people who were interested in your game, they're going to be interested in your game for the stuff that you showed them. And if they don't get that, then they're going to feel like it's false advertisement. And honestly, it is.
Right.
So new DLC coming through, I'm probably not going to play it. Like I've beat the game already on PC, and I tried to go back and do a separate ending, and yeah,
Which ending
I
did
just
you
lost
do?
interest. I did an ending where
You did the
I
corporate
am
ending?
well no there's no so those are like origin
But
stories.
yeah,
There's the corporate
those are
origin
origin story.
story,
Yeah.
street rat, and nomad. I was a street rat who got into a romance with Panem. Ended up becoming one like a part of her nomad family, I guess you want to call that.
Mm-hmm.
I did not allow Johnny Silverhand to take over me. Um, and
Pause.
I yeah, pause. And me and the nomads, at the end, we invaded the main corporation's building, and whatever. I can't even remember what the goal was, but we won. And yeah, but like here's another thing about DLC, right? So there's supposed to be a DLC dropping in 2023, and
Mm-hmm.
I've said this before that when I hate when games drop post-launch DLC that doesn't continue the story. If you're gonna drop DLC, have it take the story and go further. Like
Mm-hmm.
wherever it ended, let's pick up where that was, and like an actual expansion that actually continues things on. A lot of games, and even really good games, don't do that. Like for example, the Outer Worlds, Obsidian's expansion actually is something that if you beat the game, you'll have to have like an older save in order to access that DLC with the game save that you actually uh completed the game on for the character you completed the game on. Otherwise, you'll probably need to start over again in order to actually enjoy that DLC. Because once you beat the game, your last game save is like right before the final boss.
That sucks.
So I hate when that happens. I even disliked it for like the Mass Effect series, where in Mass Effect 3, the big DLC they gave you two big DLCs, the Leviathan DLC
That's a
and
good
the
DLC.
Citadel. It is good, yeah, and
Leviathan, I didn't too much care for Citadel, but Leviathan
I,
was really good.
I liked Citadel. I liked it, but it's like, but these are like
That
at the
Shadow
end of Mass
Broker.
Effect 3, they destroyed the Citadel.
That's
So
yeah, exactly.
it was like you got this DLC that's focused on the Citadel, and clearly in a timeline that's before the ending of the game, but you don't release it until like 3 4 months after the game comes out. It's like,
Yeah.
like it kind of ruins things as far as I'm concerned. Like I liked how Lair the Shadow Broker could have been done at any point. I liked how Arrival for Mass Effect 2
I
is
love Rival.
intentionally takes
The
place in
bridge.
between, like a bridge, yeah, in between 2 and 3. Those are the kind of DLCs that I'm into. Dragon Age Awakenings, where it takes place after you've already beat the game, and events that occurred during the game are referenced, and all that stuff is like it's actual bridge to between Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2. Like I like those kind of expansions. I don't like it when they it's like it really could have been something that you should have had available at launch of the game so that I could experience it I could experience it as it's occurring in the game. And so hopefully it's not like that. Hopefully it's a continuation of the story, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. I am officially more likely going to start playing it over summer. I told everyone I had it since day one, and I refused to play it. I was like, this game's so busted. I'm not returning it. I'm just going to leave it on my hard drive because I'm a huge Witcher fan, and I just wanted to jump into the world, but it's like I just wasn't going to do it under the circumstances that the game was performing in. So definitely gonna jump into it now. It seems like it's in a way better place. Some people still say there's a lot of issues and stuff going on like that. I don't know how I really feel about. I mean, like you said, the DLC is like next year, and I almost want to kind of just wait to play it then, because it's not like we don't have a bunch of games to play between now and then. It's almost like if you didn't play Cyberpunk, you might as well just wait for the DLC to come out so you can get the whole experience at one time. Because, like you did say, it's something that you kind of want to play in line with the story instead of trying to
Mhm.
do it all after the fact. So I was looking forward to playing over summer. I just don't know now. It just really just depends on what the summer looks like when it comes to other things. But 18 million, I mean, it's good. The game has been $5 multiple times over the course of the last couple of months. Best Buy just recently had it down to $5. I know GameStop was selling it over the holiday for 10. Um, but the fact that the game, like you said, can't take anything away from it, it still sold like 13.7 million copies in 3 weeks of it being on. Well, actually, 2 weeks of it being on. 3 weeks because it came out December 4th. 3 weeks on sale during that holiday, and that was with them counting all the returns that the game got. So it's still sold
Yeah.
13.7 million. So the funny thing is, I really wonder what the number really truly was if you didn't factor in the returns that they got over that
Oh
first
yeah.
month.
So like they had made an initial announcement of what the initial sales were, which was about like I think it was like 14 and 15 million, and then there was something came out that said that uh post the refund fiasco,
Hmm.
they had 13 million. So that was like they pretty much lost like
Like
one
one
to 2 million
one to two
people
million people
like actually
returning it.
refunded the game, which I mean that's a significant number of
That's a
people
lot of
refunding a
people, bro.
game. That's a lot
It's
of
some
people.
games that don't even sell that many.
But you gotta think about the fact that the vast majority of the people that played this game at launch played it on last gen consoles.
Yeah,
And those consoles were those versions were literally the worst
worst. Yeah,
version of the game. And you look at like everything that they showed, they think about the all the fiascos that occurred with reviews where they weren't allowing reviewers to use their own footage. They would not they didn't give any reviews for any of the consoles. Not the consoles got no reviews really. It was all
yeah,
PC reviews, and even the PC wasn't very stable, but it was stable, more stable than the consoles were.
yeah. That's
So
yeah.
yeah, but
No, I say that's the biggest thing for me. It just really just comes down to, like, I don't think people have forgiven them for the situation
oh
in the
no,
game. That definitely ain't the case. But I do think people do want to experience the game. You know, you don't get excited for a game like this like a lot of people were, and not give it a try, especially if the game's in a way better place. I think they did a really good thing when they announced that The Witcher, they was continuing the story of The Witcher um, before they did any other updates and stuff to kind of get people back into the good graces. And the funny thing about that was when they mentioned Witcher, you didn't hear anybody. It was like, "Oh, I don't trust CD Projekt Red or anything." It's like you could definitely tell how people can say one thing, but as soon as the game that they care about the most, that literally made CD Projekt Red who they are to this day, you can see that there's like, okay, well, Cyberpunk was a mess, but The Witcher gonna be amazing. And I just feel like people just didn't learn from the experience of what Cyberpunk was.
I would say, but maybe it's the people that we saw speaking about this, but I see a lot more people a bit more skeptical of CD Projekt Red now and,
Okay.
and what they do in the future. And I think these are the people that actually believed a lot of the stuff that the developers were saying, that they were saying about the game, and then come to find out like a lot of the stuff that they said would be in the game wouldn't be in the game, and and the game really honestly needed another year and a half at
Right.
least in development before it should have been anywhere near close to being launched. So I think when that's your last title, you've kind of earned the skepticism
Right.
from a lot of people. I did see some people showing some confidence that maybe the next one won't be as buggy since they're switching from their proprietary Red engine to Unreal Engine 5, and that was kind of like part of their announcement because Unreal Engine Epic Games was doing a whole thing, really promoting their engine, mostly to other developers. And CD Projekt Red used that opportunity to kind of help them, get some popularity back, get
Hmm.
some goodwill back. Hey, we're doing another Witcher. You guys remember that game? You guys love that game. We're doing another one. And guess what? We're not going to use this engine that apparently gave us so much trouble. Instead, we're going to use, everyone's favorite engine, Unreal Engine. Like so. Whether that actually turns out well for them or not, we'll see. But I do think that there are a significant number of people who are in kind of wait and see mode on what they do in the future. And for them, like they didn't announce the name of this Witcher game.
No, they
They just
didn't.
said that they so like I like this isn't coming out anytime soon.
Oh no, yeah, this thing is in super pre-production. Like they didn't even put pen to paper yet.
Yeah. I mean and they can't like I don't know what's going on in their internally, but like they also announced they were delaying the Witcher 3 next gen or what current gen
The
patch.
next gen, yeah.
Yeah,
Patch.
so that's got delayed to later this year. And I mean, look, just I don't know what they plan on putting into that, or they're putting ray tracing in it, or they like I don't know what's happening here. But the fact that you can't like you gotta delay that kind of tells me that they're kind of struggling to kind of keep things going and actually keeping to deadlines the way they claimed they would.
Well, you also
So
got to remember that they're literally right in the middle. Well, not in the middle, but they're right on the border of all the tomfoolery that's going on over in Russia and everything right now.
that is also true.
They're literally
Yeah.
right there on that border, so that might have a lot to do with stuff being delayed. They're kind of focusing on the things that they have now versus trying to focus on something else. People that got Witcher 3, you know, they already have the game for the most part. Sure, they might make some sales up on the back end just because people might want to just see what that system looks like on next gen. That game looks like on next gen. But for the most
Mhm.
part, they're basically just giving that thing away for free to everybody that already have it. So I'd rather them focus on what they need to focus on when it comes to Cyberpunk, getting that all the way up to speed. If they feel like they're comfortable with that, moving over to the DLC, getting that out, and who knows, man, we may not see this Witcher update until 2023 at the earliest, late 2023.
Well, they said it was going to come out later this year.
Oh, they did say later this year. Okay, well
Yeah,
that's good.
but
It's still
hey,
this
but
year.
it delayed, so who knows?
Yeah,
But
exactly. But no, what do you guys think in the chat, man? Is all these updates, is the DLC gonna help you come back to the game? Shout out to a couple people in the chat. Alpha Will said Witcher 3 is fantastic. I platinumed that S3 times already. Shout out to you, bro. Then we got Mitchy Poo. He says played it on release on the Series X, and I had a great experience. Currently doing another playthrough right now with the patch. DJ Oris, what's up, my boy? Squiggly words. Oh, shout out to you, bro. Yeah, those squiggly words I had in those videos. We got Tua PR. Is it me or is his audio very low? Is it low still is it low for everybody? Because Tad said it was good for everybody. But let me know if the audio is good for me and Slomo. If it isn't, I could just boost us both back up because I did turn it down, but a lot of people in the chat said it was still good. I'm a rich swag lord. Says shout out to Forte. What's up, man? Salute. Appreciate you. Shout out to Slomo. What's good, bro? And let me see who else we out of here. And and Stank Maw, we got you up here.
yeah,
Oh,
they're
I see.
saying
Go ahead.
they're saying they're still low.
It's still low. Okay, I can turn us
Yeah.
both. I just turn us both back up. So.
Shout out to Vaccine. Shout out to Vaccine with the $5 super chat says School of Cat should be in the next Witcher game. The school trained both female male Witchers, allowing for character creation. So yeah, like that would, yeah. So like you would, I guess, this would be away from Gerald. So maybe I don't know. Like maybe they don't want to do that because I think part of the appeal to The Witcher is the characters.
Mm-hmm.
You always got the camps there like Team Yennefer, Team Triss. Like you got your people out here and that really enjoy those characters. And I think that, and I've said it before when it comes to RPGs, that the characters can really endear people to the game. When you go to a character creator, it's a different way of doing storytelling because previously with the Witcher games, with Geralt being the main character, he has his own personality. There is, even though you can kind of pick and choose some of the choices that you make, he is still someone that is known in a certain way. When you create a character and you create a Witcher, there's a different way of doing storytelling that may not necessarily be in CDPR's bag, like BioWare, for example. And shout out to David Gator, who has spoken about this, and Mark Dara, uh, both former both former BioWare developers. One Gator, who was the lead narrative director for Dragon Age, and Mark Dara, who was one of the lead directors. Anyway, they talk about the way BioWare does stories, and they always say like how your main character, your shepherd, your Grey Warden, whoever is like they give you a lot of options in how to flesh out that character's personality, but a lot of the storytelling does not come from them. A lot of the personality does not come from them. They pack all of those layers of like interesting depth and character development into your supporting characters, your Alistar, your your Tallies, your Garruses, your other character, Morrigan, these other characters around your main character that have huge backstories and very intriguing subplots. That's how they do their storytelling. How would can CDPR kind of do that shift where it's not really about Geralt, but it's about
Yeah.
these other people and the world and we'll see. I mean, it's a different way of doing storytelling, and some people can make that shift easily, and some can't. But we'll see what happens. Shout out to Dut. Dirt Giggity in the house with the $10 super chat says, "What's up, my brothers? What's up, Dirt man? Hope you're having a good one, sir." By the way, Rand, my Bridge 4 brother Rand, is in the chat saying, "Forte, I just called you back and you didn't even pick up. Shame,
He did.
absolute
I
shame."
literally. Well, listen. You know what? I could call him back while we on the middle of the podcast. I mean, it's
Wait,
up
wait,
to
let's
you.
let's not do let's not do
Let's
that.
not do that. Yo, shout out to like I said, shout out to we to Dirt doing the Lord's work over there on his YouTube channel. If you guys ain't following Dirt on his YouTube channel, y'all need to go do it, man. Especially if you definitely fancy the Xbox side of it. You know, he's a Xbox person through and through, but he keeps it real on his channel. And even though he's real messy over there sometimes, I appreciate him because I like when people keep it real. And as long as I know you're gonna keep it real and I know that's what you're about, I love it. And I really appreciate the stuff that he does on this channel. So make sure you check him out over there. It's pretty cool and amazing stuff that he talks about over there. And then, like you said, we got the homeboy Rand up in the chat, the man that used to make videos all the time, but he literally has no time to do that because outside of doing his podcast every week, he just reads books, with the homeboys.
Excellent books.
Yeah,
by the way.
excellent books with the homeboys Slow Mo and stuff. And they best of friends. I thought Rand was my friend, but he don't even play games with me no more. But shout out to you, Rand. Thanks for coming through, bro. Really appreciate you. I feel like I've been given up on. Right. Yeah, right, Dirt. We need our Xbox compadres to come out here and put videos out. We need them to come out and make another video, man. He ain't done it. But yeah. So Cyberpunk, awesome. 18 million. should have probably been 25 million if they didn't have a busted game on day one. But we're gonna keep it moving. Next topic, slow mo. A game that just keeps giving. No Man's Sky. It keeps surprising people. On top of that, Drew Murray just came out and he talked about their next project that they got in development, which is even more ambitious than No Man's Sky. So for
I don't want to hear nothing
twofold
from
question.
him. I do not want to. I already know what these questions are.
Yep,
First off, I do not
twofold.
pay attention to No Man's Sky. I
Oh.
tried it; it was not for me. So look, if it's got more, I look. I know it's a different game than it was when it first launched. Great. I am happy for them. I'm happy for Hello Games. I'm happy for everybody who enjoys that game. That said, I do not want to hear anything from the guy that runs them about some new game that they're doing. I do not care because we know. Look, maybe he's learned his lesson from not hyping up stuff that wasn't going to be in this game, but hopefully, like he would cool down on the hyperbole or the just outright lies of what was going to be in the game at launch and what wasn't there. It's very similar to CDPR and Cyberpunk, but look, this stuff looks amazing. I got zero interest in any of it. Like look, I'm almost going to sleep looking at it right now. So it's just like it's not for me. It is so not for me. But that's fine because it's for other people, and not all gamers have all the same interests. And I'm so cool with that. Everyone who's looking at this and they're just like, I can't wait to get into this. Is great. I'm flying around and there are explosions happening. It's not no one's shooting at me though, but there's explosions happening and my ship looks cool and there's an asteroid belt. Yay. Like, hey, you know what? Enjoy that asteroid belt. Have fun.
Oh my God.
Build your ship and make it look weird as possible and do all that stuff. It's great. All that said, I do not care about anything that Hello Games says about their games. When it comes out, is it actually what you said it was going to be? Great. Until then, like I have a very zero tolerance like when it comes to people saying one thing and then doing another. And
Right.
so once the developer shows me that they have the capacity to say you can do this in a game and then you can't, I'm good. I'm good on anything that you say going forward. So, like I said, I hope they change and I hope they learned from the mistakes that they made. But This is not on my radar whatsoever. What about you, man?
For a person that had a lot to say, you had a lot to say. That's what you had a lot to say for a person that have a lot to say. Listen, man, I didn't even mess around with the original. I didn't jump in until the next now I want to call it what do you call them? Because
Expansions.
was that actually
right?
an expansion? Because sometimes they blend
guess
together
so.
with the actual updates that the game got.
Revamp. Oh no, they called it Anthem. Not I was about to say Anthem.
They called it they called it Next, didn't
Anthem wished. Yeah, they called it No Man Next.
I think they called it No
No
Man's
Man's
Sky
Sky.
Next. Yeah.
Whatever. I
Which
know Anthem tried to do something similar, and EA was like, "Pff, "No, we don't need."
EA was like, "We ain't trying to keep giving you money."
Yeah, like we don't really need this. Like, which makes sense because Hello Games, that's like their only game. So it's either go under or actually fix the game in a way that making it what people expected.
Yeah,
EA, on the other hand, with Anthem, EA didn't need Anthem to be successful. So, like, yeah,
I think it was
um,
successful though.
no, it
It
wasn't.
was successful when it came to like units sold. It just wasn't
Yeah, but
successful
you
long
don't
term.
know if that actually made a profit for them or not.
Oh no. Well, I mean, it's just like the whole Tomb Raider thing. Is 8 million really a bad number? But if you look at Square Enix, they said that wasn't enough.
Yeah, and look, this goes back to what I was saying earlier in the episode about like sales don't tell the whole story.
That's true.
So like Like, and I think they did say Anthem sold something like 7, 8 million copies. Like, for most people, that's a major success. But then
Exactly.
no one felt Anthem was a success because there was a lack of content. It was supposed to be a looter, and their roadmap, they never even delivered on any of that roadmap, and it was a buggy mess at launch. So like, no, that like getting people to buy your game based off of how you marketed it, it was a successful marketing campaign, but was it a successful game?
Right.
No, because the game did not back up the expectations that the marketing created, which is like same thing with No Man's Sky, same thing with Cyberpunk. Like No Man's Sky had very very high expectations. What's the what's his name? Something Murray, right? What
Drew
was the
Murray.
guy's name?
Drew Murray.
Drew, Drew Murray was on. I saw this guy on the Tonight Show talking about the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's on night shows talking about a game, and it didn't deliver on any of that stuff. It's just,
Listen,
you
man,
know,
that's Sony money at work. Sony money was at
don't.
work back then.
Hey, look. So did Sony tell him to say the things that he said?
Listen, man, Sony let's be for real. Okay,
Yeah,
look.
you said Drew
Okay.
Murray is Sean Murray.
Oh, I did say Drew Murray. Yeah, Sean Murray.
Who is Drew Murray?
It is a Drew Murray. Oh, is it
There
Drew
is
Murray?
a
Isn't Drew Murray for Drew? Isn't that like Mass Effect?
no.
I don't know. I don't know where. I just got 2 days mixed up. Sean Murray.
Drew
Yeah.
Murray.
Did
It
you
was the
Google it?
guy.
Did you just Google
Yes, I
it?
did. I had to remind myself who he was. Drew Murray is the guy that was at Insomniac, went to the
That's what he
initiative,
went to initiative and went.
and
Yeah,
then went back to
he went
Insomniac.
back to
That's Drew
Insomniac. That's
Murray.
Drew Murray.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, he was more relevant than Sean.
That's the guy that actually
That
delivered good
delivered a good
games.
game. He said can't compare this man with a good game.
Yeah. He was the
Wait.
lead director on Sunset Overdrive, and he's done how m- he did I think Resistance 1
Mm-hmm.
and 2, I think. And but yeah, look, no, Drew is legit. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, but don't you? Part of me feels like so. Yes, Sean Murray went on that stage at E3 and made a bunch of proclamations and promises that they couldn't even live up to. Not especially in the state that the game was in, promising that, co-op was going to be there and all this other crazy stuff. And, it was just a bunch of stuff. And the funny thing is all the stuff that they promise is in the game now, but that was back in 2013 they made these promises. So, I mean, it's been almost 10 years since then. So I would think that a lot of the stuff that they talked about back then would be in the game. But it seems like there was a lot of people that's really interested in it, especially when they came out with the next update. They really, really surprised a lot of people with that by adding a lot of stuff. And then the one thing that kind of shocks me about this is because the one thing that really made people excited for what No Man's Sky had coming, especially with the next update, is the fact that they put their heads down and didn't say anything to nobody. But as soon as Sean Murray started talking about the next game, I was like, oh Lord, here we go. Don't do this to yourself, Sean. Sean, just live in a bubble until the game is ready to be talked about and you know what systems are going to be available on day one, whenever that's going to be, and then talk about it. Don't get people excited because right now, a lot of people truly do like what they see in No Man's Sky Outlaws, and they like the direction that the game has went into. And you don't want to get false expectations set for a lot of people because they're going to think that they understand now, they got it. They ain't going to make the same mistake they made with No Man's Sky, but they're already starting in that direction by trying to get everybody excited for something that they can't even show you yet. So I think that's kind of the give and take. Not saying you shouldn't want to support me. You shouldn't want to promote your new game or your new IP or whatever it's going to be because it's not going
Look,
to be
you
another
you
No Man's
have to make
Sky.
sure that I'm pretty sure for any developer or like front man for a studio,
Mm-hmm.
like this stuff's not easy. You know,
Right.
it seems easy, but it's not. When you're trying to generate interest in a game for the gaming community to look at your game and say, "Wow, I want to play that," while also still prototyping features that you want to be in the game, but then not necessarily knowing 100% whether those things are going to make it into the game.
Right.
Because you can have in pre-production, and look, I'm not a developer, but I've talked with developers and they say things like this, that you have ideas that you start off with in pre-production. You switch over to the next phase. You're
Mm-hmm.
working on the game. Whoops, kind of come to find out that idea you had,
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to work. Maybe technology hasn't advanced enough. Maybe it's going to use up too much memory for the engine that you have, or it's just not going to work out with everything else you got going on. In order to get this in, you're going to have to delay the game another year or two. You know, those kind of things pop up, and you have to decide, okay, we're going to have to cut that. The thing is that it's like this balancing act that you got to figure out when to reveal the game when you're at a point where you're no longer cutting content because it doesn't fit or it doesn't work, or you weren't able to get it to run stable with it, or just it just what the game wasn't fun with it, or it the hardware can't handle it. Like when those kind of things arise, you want to make sure that like all that stuff's out of the way,
Right.
and now you can actually show your game, and what you're showing to people is what the game's really going to be like. And that balancing act is difficult, and you can't be. th- This is why a lot of developers will announce a game, not show you anything.
Right.
And the very first trailer they have is a teaser trailer made by Blur Studios,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't really show you anything because they don't really have anything to show you, and they're not gonna jazz up the visuals of a game that's in production, and the game doesn't look anywhere near like that right now because they haven't even made all the assets to go into the game or added all the textures and did all the extra stuff needed to make it look beautiful. No, they haven't done any of that stuff yet. It's there's no point in showing the game then. Like I'm team show me what it looked like.
Right.
Like I I said it back when they first showed it, and I think some of the information that came out about Undead Labs recently kind of proved what I was saying. But like, I didn't like that they had Blur Studios make them a trailer with a woman surviving out in the woods, and
Mm-hmm.
then she runs into like a undead deer. Like it looked cool, but I know what State of Decay 1 and 2 look like, and that right there was visually a huge leap over that. And I didn't like that there are going to be people who may not have played 1 and 2,
Mm-hmm.
newer gamers or whatever, and they may see that and think that's what the game is going to look like. And then knowing that like usually when they don't show a game, but they're showing you just straight nothing but a CG trailer, whether it's running in engine or not, that the game really ain't all that close together,
Right.
or all that far along. And then we come to find out the game had been in pre-production for like 3 years. So yeah, this is exactly what I thought it was. And just don't show the game, man. Don't sh- don't show you. You want to announce it? Hey, we're working on this game. Bet. Thank you for that announcement. Something to look forward to.
Right.
Don't show me. They just don't. I hate teaser trailers because they're not very rarely are they representative of what the actual final product looks like. So just don't do it. Just show me the game, man.
Yeah. I think that's where a lot of people are at when it comes to it. It's like, we're at a point now, like, just who cares about what you're talking about? Just show us what are we going to be playing. I think that's the biggest thing. Just talk about the game, show what we're going to be playing, and I think people will be happy. But outside of that, Slow Mo, let's get into the main course. You know,
Here we go.
Did you get you some you had you a nice snack before this? We gotta talk about this Halo stuff, man. It's a lot of
Well, I ate dinner and I got myself a Red Bull right here, so
oh
I think
yeah,
I'm good to
oh you're
go.
good to go. Let's talk about
Yeah.
some Halo Infinite. Season 2 got announced. It's already been rumored. It's been rumored and leaked for quite some time, a couple weeks or 3 weeks now. It's going to be the season of the Lone Wolf. There's a lot of
Because
things.
there's no co-op.
So season
Ding ding.
ching. So the season of the Lone Wolf. It starts on May 3rd, so about 3 weeks away. You're getting 2 new maps. A King of the Hill.
One for big team
Yeah,
battle and one for arena.
and one for arena. You're getting King of the Hill added as a game mode. The Lone Wolf Battle Pass is going to be adding new armor challenges, and it costs the same thing the last one, 1,000 credits. You'll also be a person that buys the premium Battle Pass. If you buy the premium Battle Pass to still step up above this one, you have the opportunity of earning your 1,000 credits back inside the Battle Pass because they're adding credit into the Battle Pass, which was one of the most requested things from Season 1 when Infinite came out. And they're also overhauling a couple of the things in the game over when it comes to melees, the overshields, the choppers, the banshees, and a whole bunch of other stuff's getting changed inside of the sandbox. So, Slowmo, being an avid Halo fan, I have 2 questions for you. First question is, are you going to be there on May 3rd to play this DLC or this expansion? 2, are you going to get the premium battle pass or just the regular battle pass? And 3, do you think this is enough to bring people back to the game?
1, yes, I will be there at the beginning of the season. How long I'm there, that is
To be determined.
to be determined. I don't think I'll be there long, but I'll be there. 2, I'm just gonna get the regular battle pass. I'm not getting the premium battle pass. My issues with how this game was launched and the lack of content, the delays on things that should have been there at launch, the fact that I thought that the game should have been delayed from the very start, it's frustrating to me because I see a lot of the stuff that I said, like, this is going to be a problem. This is going to ended up happening. And for other people who didn't care about any of that, all they cared about is having a feather in their hat, the brag about, look what we got coming out and look what you don't have coming out. Like, those people don't play the game anymore, nor do they care. Like, I care about Halo Infinite being good. I care about being able to play a game and enjoy it and play it with friends who are also enjoying it, whether it's in co-op in the campaign or in PvP in a fire team. I want to play the game with my friends and have fun. And it's unfortunate that, like, here we are in how many, let's see, they came out in mid-November with the PvP. It's now the middle of April, and we've got the least amount of content that any Halo game is launched with. And it's frustrating to me. It's annoying. Do I think people are going to come back? For this, no. I don't think people will. I'm not saying it's impossible for people to come back. There is a way for people to come back to Halo Infinite. It's going to require either a expansion to the campaign. I don't think co-op is going to bring. I think co-op will bring some people back. Let me add another one there. An expansion to the campaign, co-op for the campaign, or a completely new PvP mode in the PvP, like a battle royale. I think if you bring those in there, I think you'll get a significant number of people who tried the game out at launch to come back. Before the core Halo community, you gotta get more maps out. They need, like I know they're trying to do something great with Forge. Like they need to speed this process up. They need to get Forge out there so that the community can help them get more maps out to do more about that. It's just I'm disappointed because I saw where this was going, and then lo and behold, this is where it is. And I'm not trying to trumpet my horn like, see, I told you guys. Cause like, no, I didn't want to have to say that. I didn't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to have to say that, but it's just here we are. And I said that co-op wasn't going to be there when they said it was going to be there. It's for all the people that said, oh, slow-mo, shut up. You gotta wait 3 months for co-op. Big deal. Well, we're 3 months past launch. They delayed the first season because they said they were going to make sure the co-op was there.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's not going to be there too. Even after delaying, not delaying, extending the first season for an additional 3 months. So, like I said, I'll be there day one playing it. But for how long? That's who knows.
So
What about you, man?
Oh, I'll be there. So I had to think about this because I go back and forth with Halo a lot because Halo outside of Mass Effect, Halo is by far my next favorite franchise. I love it to death. But it's just it's been so disappointing. Not the games per se, but just the overall care of just the game itself. I was too one of those people that felt like it should have been delayed. I still will live on that hill. Like it should have been delayed longer. It should have been in a situation where we should never be where we are now. But we are where we are now. And I don't blame 343 solely for this because I feel like once Microsoft decided that they wanted to put the 20th anniversary above making sure the game was in the best state they could be in before they released it, I think that's when we just had to just deal with the simple fact that Halo's coming. Because they put that date on it, 343 basically just had to get the game out the door. And I think that's what Joseph Staten was brung there for. It was basically like, hey, this is the deadline. We're delaying it for a year. We're not going longer than that. What can you get out the door? And that's when you started seeing a lot of different things happen when it comes to the story components, things where cut out the game. They lighten the load on what they can actually get in the game on launch. And I think that's where co-op and stuff went. It's like, yeah, we can get co-op later. We just want to get the main experience out there. But I just think in general, I'm really excited for this expansion for this season, just to see exactly what improvements they made to the overall movement system and stuff like that. The gunplay was already stellar, but I was having issues with just the overall matchmaking ability when it comes to the arena and stuff.
Oh man, don't get me started, yo. Freaking their MMR system, skill-based matching, absolute bunk.
Yeah.
Why is what you do in social and casual affecting who you play in ranked? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. And what is Aramis talking about? We got Aramis guy saying, nope, like Staten said, you'd have to release at some point.
You do have to release at some
nope,
point.
Nope. Okay.
Go ahead.
One of the greatest game designers ever, Miyamoto, said a delayed game is always better than the game that you would have released when it was not ready. That's one.
Right.
Two, how did that work out for Cyberpunk? Because they wanted to delay it for 2 years. And the leadership was like, nope, we're gonna release. Come on now. And what 18 plus million sold what? Like that's not
it could have been
Halo Infinite copies.
It could have been no, he's talking about Cyberpunk, when you said how did that work out for Cyberpunk, he said 18 plus million, so that's how it worked out. But no, that 18 million could have been 25, 30.
They got sued by their investors.
Yes.
They got what you call it, a class action lawsuit put against them as well. Their reputation got put in the trash. No, I don't think they consider that 18 plus million to be hey, at least we got that. When the vast majority of that came from the very, very beginning of the game being launched. Games, if you can, that game is worth less than a fast food Happy Meal right now. So yeah, like that's not an example of just releasing an unfinished broken game. No. Like, never is that a good idea. And yet, not yet have we seen a single game released unfinished and broken and it turned out well.
Yeah. I do want to say, ladies, saying in the chat says the difference between Halo and Cyberpunk is that it was actually broken. Halo isn't broken; it's lacking in content, and I agree 100% with that. I do.
I don't agree.
Well, I agree.
Hold
Let me go ahead. All right, go ahead. You go first.
When that game launched, it had all kinds of glitches and stutters and skipping going on PC. I know some people will be like, well, on Xbox it didn't. I'm sorry. Well, look, on every platform it wasn't great. That's one. Two, the controller support was broken on PC as well. The keyboard, mouse and keyboard aiming was not done well either. So like this, to say, I'm not saying it was broken, like the game couldn't, like you couldn't even play the game. No, it wasn't that bad. But Cyberpunk itself was broken on a level that no game,
game was ever broken on
before. So,
but
like,
I think that's what she's saying, though. But I think that's what she's saying, though. I do agree when it comes to the overall thoughts that people try to put Halo in the same conversation with something like Cyberpunk, and I don't think that's a fair comparison. I do think that my biggest thing with Halo.
The only reason I brought up Cyberpunk is that their leadership knew the game wasn't ready and decided to release it the same way 343's leadership and Xbox leadership decided to release the game knowing it wasn't ready. That's the only comparison I was making, and we see both how they both turned out. It wasn't a long yay, it worked out. We definitely made the best decision here to release it when we did. No, neither one of them can say that. And that's the only really tie I was making. Whether it's the game is buggy, broken, whatever, it wasn't ready. And Staten saying whatever Staten would have said in defense of that, he's not going to say, I want to delay it another year, but Matt Booty told me no. He ain't going. He's not saying that.
I can't, bro. I can't.
He's not going to say it. He's not going to tell you the truth.
I can't. I love.
But you know what the truth is, because he had to keep coming out and tell you, hey, look, co-op's not going to be there.
Listen,
Forge isn't going to be there.
Yeah.
So look, stop.
Listen,
stop, guys. Come on.
All I know is I have to give respect. Lady Cyan, she just gave me the MVP quote where she was like, at least it's an MVP, which is a minimal viable product. Shout out to you. Listen, man, it works. I get it. And that was the argument that a lot of people were going against people like me, Rand, and Diller, and Colt. All the people in the community that was like, delay the game. Just delay the game. Make the game as great as it needs to be when it releases. But that was the conversation, and what a lot of people were talking about. But we want to play the game. Oh, who cares if co-op's not there? I can always go back and play co-op with my friends. But you got to also remember, there's a lot of people. I have friends that more than likely probably won't even pick the game up now, because who knows when the co-op is coming. They say by September now, but do we really know that? Do we? I mean, until I actually see it, I don't.
I got 3 friends right now that have yet to play the game because they wanted to play
they
it
want to play it in
co-op.
co-op.
They wanted to do 4-player co-op with the 4 of us, and they have yet to play the game.
Okay, Artemis, just because you're transparent on the state of the game doesn't mean that it makes it okay to be in the situation you're in. Like I said, I don't even blame 343 because I said I blame Microsoft for this because they're the ones that put the date on its head. Once the date was on its head, all they can do is just go off of what Microsoft wants to do at that point. Microsoft wanted the game out for the 20th anniversary. That's what we got. 343 has to live in the live in the bed that Microsoft made when it comes to that. But and Artemis is right. Ever since that decision was made, 343 has been I've been very happy with the transparency they have had as a development house
Really?
in the company. Well, no,
So
because
what's the roadmap?
I'm not talking about I'm talking about the fact that they ain't pulling
No,
wool over
they're
your
being
eyes.
transparent. So when's the next story expansion coming?
Oh, but they didn't even talk about the story. I talk about the stuff that they talked about, Slum. They haven't talked
Is
about
there
story.
another story expansion coming?
They haven't talked about the story expansion
Okay, so
yet.
basically talking about being transparent.
Well, they're being
these
transparent
are questions
in the
that people have.
Slow-mo, they're being I'm talking about being transparent in the stuff that they've been talking about, especially when it comes to the burning questions.
So
Of
they're
the stuff that happened over
transparent in what they choose to talk about. But what they choose to talk about isn't what people want to hear.
What do they want to hear, Slow-mo? What do you want to hear? What do you want to hear?
I just say, when's the next story expansion coming out? Where's the roadmap?
Okay.
Can you tell us for certain when Forge is coming? Exactly when is co-op coming? Since you said it's not going to be there at the launch of the new season, but it's going to come somewhere in the season. Do you have a ballpark figure of when that might be? 343.
I think they're still working on just trying to get all the systems and stuff together in what they wanted to have out for launch, and they still don't have that out yet. I don't think this is the thing, so I don't think they want to add more things to the conversation that they can't have out in some type of a minimum fashion. You know, I think co-op is something that's a burning desire for a lot of people in the community to get out. I think that's the next goal, getting that out. The fact that they're bringing certain affinity on to have a deeper relationship with, I think that has a lot to do with what's going on with Forge and stuff, because certain affinity helped with a lot of stuff when it came to multiplayer in Forge, when it came to the last games, for the last Halos and stuff. So I think that is where they're kind of having that conversation at. But the thing is, not everybody's going. I mean, I get it. You're one of those people, you want to know everything. You want to, like, don't tell me what you're going to do, show me what you're going to do. And I'm with you on that. And a lot of people do deserve that. A lot of people do deserve, what's the roadmap going to look like? What's the timeline on when the next story DLC comes out? I want to know that too. But I do think at a certain point we have to come to the reasonable expectation that it's going to be a while into this game is where a lot of people wanted to be. Either you're going to be one of those people that's going to sit there and say, I'm going to be mad about the situation consistently over the course. And not saying that's you, I'm just saying in general, because that's what a lot of people have been. Either you're going to be upset about it and pout about it every time a new update comes out and they don't talk about the thing that you want them to talk about, or you're just going to enjoy the game for what the game is, because that's why I can't be mad at the game anymore. I'm over being pissed at what Halo is right now, because I feel like Microsoft has, to an extent, disrespected the number one IP that they have. I mean, to a point where I just feel like, do they even care about it? And I know that's blasphemous, but it's just the fact that I don't think you would ever treat anything like that before. I would think you would want your flagship title to be, taken as serious as possible, and you would want everybody to enjoy it, and you would want to give it every chance it can possibly have to be the best thing for everybody to play. But that didn't happen, and I'm willing to accept that. But the biggest thing is, I just want to enjoy the game at this point. Whenever the new DLC comes out, it comes out. I just want them to fix the issues that the game have currently right now. Get co-op in the game so me and you could go in there and actually do legendary runs together. I really was looking forward to that. But in general, That's the biggest thing. Shout out to Brat with the $2 super chat. Slow-mo was right. Infinite should have been delayed. Listen, bro, don't be
Right.
saying slow-mo's right. Forte told y'all this before they even announced it. Where you get slow-mo's right? Forte was the first person, literally, when that stream was over, and I said, bro, they need to delay this for another year. I said, and when everybody kept saying, oh, a year is good, I said, no. The stuff that was busted in that stream, the game that they showed us at first, needed at least 2 years because everybody was talking about the graphical fidelity and all the stuff
I
they needed to
agreed
do.
with you that it needed to be delayed. What I said
know
was
you
they weren't
did.
going to do it. They weren't going to do it. It was
Oh, yeah.
exactly what
Yeah, you
they
said
weren't
they
going to
weren't gonna
delay
do
it,
it.
even though it needed it.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
and
You're
lo and
right.
behold, they didn't delay it,
They
even though
didn't
we
delay
knew
it
they
longer.
needed it.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's just it's you know it's funny that like and you see responses like the current one that like get over it. Like, no, don't tell me what to do. I'll keep talking about it if I want to. If you don't like it, you know, there's other things that you could be doing with your time right now. But this is the current topic of the evening, and if you're too triggered to listen to it, there, you know, you can go. I don't know, go play Halo Infinite.
Leave Rodimus alone.
Go play Halo Infinite.
Leave our boy.
I know you ain't gonna do it.
Leave Rodimus
go
alone.
play Halo Infinite.
Rodimus the homie, man. As much as he be, I like him because he challenges us. That's and I appreciate.
Oh, he's chilling. This is good. It's all right. You know, he's chilling right now. Good for him.
He a Halo fan. I'm a Halo fan too. And I appreciate his words of wisdom when it comes to Halo. Everybody's not right in this situation though.
Oh no, I'm right.
Oh,
I am absolutely. I was look. See, I didn't want to be that guy. I did not want to be that guy to be like I'm right. But damn it, I said it should have been delayed. And look, we are starved for content. We don't, and people at this point are like, stop talking about it. Just get over it, because they tired of hearing the truth. Oh, but sorry, like, as I said in the chat, when someone when RRD had a good point, he said I don't want to see a roadmap from them because they don't keep up with they don't keep up with things. And I'm like, I don't agree with that, because it's like, look, if you have a failing student, you don't like lower the bar because they're not keeping up with expectations. You need to do better. Expect them to do better. I'm not going to lower my expectations for them because they have yet to actually fulfill them.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold up, man. Wait. Okay, first, shout out. Well, I got a super chat too. I'll get to that in a second. So Rodimus says, you know, slow-mo's triggered. Now RRD, I appreciate what he just said here. Now this is how you have a conversation.
I wish I was triggered.
This is how you have a conversation. He says, Gaming Forte, slow-mo, even though I agree with almost all of the criticism, I'm happy that it launched when it did. Love the campaign, love the multiplayer. Sucks to wait, but waiting for more maps. I agree. If you, and this is the whole part about it, these are just all opinions. It's my opinion.
What are you agreeing with?
No. When he said, you know, like he enjoyed the things that he played. Like I enjoyed the campaign.
He would have enjoyed all of that stuff if it was delayed with more content.
But I agree with that, Slow-mo. But some people, like, okay, let me ask you this, Slow-mo. Did you like not play the game when they released it?
Yes, I played the game.
Okay,
look,
but
don't make that the argument. Oh, well, you played it, so
no,
you can't complain.
No, we're not saying you can't complain, but you can't make it seem like, because the game came out, Slow-mo. We enjoyed what we played. We just wish that it was more. And I think a lot of people, that's the sentiment of a lot of people. A lot of people is like, well, listen, man, y'all make it seem like y'all didn't enjoy the game when y'all played it. And I do think that is a valid. I think that's
not a valid criticism. That's the straw man argument. You make it seem like the very words you make it seem like is someone interjecting their completely irrelevant and ignorant thoughts on how I enjoyed the game at launch into the conversation. We're not at launch anymore. It's not November. It is April. We're talking about now at April. Where's the content? Why is there only 2 maps being added? And you had only
Slow-mo.
1 extra map added before then. This is what we're talking about. We're not talking about how we felt at launch. Like that's a straw man argument where people try to change and shift and deflect what we're talking about to something else. No, we're not talking about at launch. We're talking about in April. We're talking about the
I
new
agree with that.
season
New
and the lack
season.
of the content for the new season.
Okay.
Anyone trying to deflect it to well, you have fun at launch. Okay.
I give
Is
you
it
that.
November?
I'll give you that. I'll give you
It's
that.
not November.
You're right about that. You're right about that.
Thank you.
And I agree with that 100%. But I do think, but the thing is, I do think the reason people say what they say, the reason that RRD is saying what he says exactly, I love what's there. I just want more maps. Doesn't take away the last few months of fun I had. I do agree. And the thing is, those are two different
This is
things.
this
Those
is
are
super chat.
yeah, oh yeah. Brat with the $10 super chat. We won't get co-op until fall of this year. Multiplayer content is focused internally now. Whoever told Slow-Mo to get over it is the reason why Microsoft can release Halo in its current state. Bots won't speak out. Shout out to the homeboy Brat with the super chat, even though you being messy in the middle of it.
Enrique is cooking. He cooking out here. Look, exactly. This is exactly why they release. Look, when you don't expect more, they give you exactly what you don't. When you don't have expectations that are high, they're never going to reach those expectations. Like, no one expects from, say, Rockstar, for example, like a GTA 6 to be like nowhere near what the game was for the previous one. No one expected for Red Dead 2 to not live up to the expectations that were levied, but that were created by Red Dead 1.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a developer that needs to reach a certain expectation, like, you're not supposed to lower your expectations. Like, you just don't. And I know people are just like, hey, other live service games have issues at launch too. Yeah, and we also go in on them when they don't have content. So why should we treat 343 any differently? Like, I go in on Bungie when Bungie didn't deliver content for Destiny. So why should I treat 343 any differently? I go hard on Massive and Ubisoft for not having any content for the Division for a year and a half. Why should I treat 343 any differently? I am one of the few that keep talking about the fact that Naughty Dog didn't release Factions with The Last of Us Part 2 and we have got zero information on Factions, period. So why should I treat 343 any differently?
Let me see.
I'm just saying.
No, you're good.
Just saying that we need to hold everyone accountable, hold everyone to the same standard.
All right, let's see. Lady Saiyan says, feels like the games of a service starts out the same way. Slow on content, Destiny, Sea of Thieves, Fortnite, Fantasy Star Online. Yeah, she's right about that. Bitchy Poo says, if it was delayed, do you guys think the current reaction would be the same since there would be nothing at all to play? What do you think the conversation would be if we didn't have Halo here to play it?
Well, at Halo Infinite?
Yeah. If it would have got delayed.
If it got delayed out in November, I think there would be some people who would be upset. I would have been fine with it. If you look at how I have always felt about delays, I've consistently always felt like good. When the game gets delayed, I'm like good. When Suicide Squad got delayed, I was like, dang, I was looking forward to that this year, but good. Because if it got delayed, it wasn't ready.
Did you imagine their holiday if they would have did that too? See, you would have had possibly Forza Motorsport 8. You could have had Starfield and Halo all in the same. It would have been crazy. Look, man, I agree. I would feel the same way. I would be happy. And I'd also think a lot of people will be super excited just to see what improvements they made. Now, if they would have delayed it, it would have probably taken the expectation meter to 55 or 15, or it would have been higher than 10, because people would have been like, you delayed this game for 2 years. What is it that you're giving us? So
But
I
look, but
so I
hey, but
do
look,
think that's the other
you
side of
shouldn't
it.
shy away from expectation.
You shouldn't.
Like
That you
you
shouldn't.
should rise to the challenge of expectation. Delaying the game would have allowed them to actually be able to do that. It's been said before, and I think it's very important into the mindset of what was going on with the Xbox leadership and the decision making at that time. But remember, they wanted this to be a launch game
Mm-hmm.
for the Xbox Series X and S.
Right.
A year later, we still have the least amount of content in a Halo game launched ever.
Right.
What were they going to give us? What were they going to launch in 2020? Now, there's some people who be like, well, that didn't happen, so why bother thinking about it? But that tells you their mindset.
Right. Yeah, and that
Or
go
look,
ahead. No,
not
go ahead.
maybe not mindset. I don't want to presume I know their mindset. But it's a failure in multiple ways, or maybe one way, but we don't know for certain. It could be that they just don't care how the game was going to turn out, and we're going to release an unfinished game. People not going to like it. We'll fix it later on. Maybe that was their mindset.
Yeah.
Or it could be that Xbox leadership had no idea the game was in the state that it was in until people complained. Now, the funny thing is that there are people who still now will tell people like me, Halo fans, don't complain. But us complaining is the reason why it wasn't launched in 2020.
All right.
Us complaining about how the gameplay looked, how the visuals looked in the gameplay reveal is the reason why they took a step back and said, wait a minute. I know we're really hard on making sure this is here for launch, but people don't like this.
Right.
You see, you have to say something. Because if you don't say anything, you just accept whatever. And so I don't understand the mentality of don't complain. We're the consumer. Who I am spending my money either for Game Pass or for the full cost of the game. My expectations should be met.
Yeah.
It is their job to satisfy us. Why should I lower my expectations when I'm the customer? We're the consumers. You shouldn't lower your expectations for anything, ever. You're spending your hard-earned money on this stuff. At no point should you lower your expectation for a corporation that don't give a crap about you. You are a number to them. And I'm not just talking about Xbox. PlayStation, especially Nintendo. You are
Leave Nintendo alone. We
a
better than
wallet.
Nintendo. We
You
better
are a
than them.
human walking wallet with legs and arms. And they want your money.
Yeah.
And if you will accept the minimum, they're going to give you the minimum. Why is it that when we have competition, companies do better?
Facts.
Competition breeds better quality because now the customer has options. I don't have to take what you got. I can go over here. And now it forces the company to do better by you because they want to keep your business. When you give them anything and everything they want over some Fox loyalty that they don't have to you, you're giving up the only leverage that you have. You're giving it up, and then you get what you get. which is not the quality that you wanted. That's all I'm saying. And I say this for every single company that's out there. If your expectation is here, you don't lower that ever. And when every single Halo game came out with co-op at launch, that was my expectation. And I'm not lowering it because some people don't like to hear it. And when they tell me it's going to come out now at this time, and then it doesn't, I'm not changing my expectations, period. And I don't think anyone else should.
Mm.
I'm ranting. My bad.
No, you're good, man. I appreciate you.
Actually, I'm not bad. I'm not apologizing. Not my bad. But I'm done ranting.
I thought you were apologizing to me for ranting. No, I mean, listen, man, and I think a couple people in the chat are kind of understanding where you're coming from. The biggest thing is I think people kind of take their opinion and try to force it on other people, whereas it's just like I said, these are all opinions.
Right.
How you feel about one situation is completely different how another person. Some people, like, I get the people that just want to play the game, and that's understandable. I was one of those people. The reason we played the game day one is because we wanted to play the game. I think the consensus was like, everybody was like, well, we rather the game, be delayed so we can actually get the best experience possible. That didn't happen. So we just ended up playing what we ended up having to play and stuff. But there's a lot of people that basically you're just talking about it. Dorian Gray says, I don't get the obsession over Halo. It's their biggest IP. Not anymore. I care about Fallout. I care about Elder Scrolls, Doom, Wolfenstein, stuff like that. It's not 2010 anymore.
Yeah,
It's a lot of games.
Look,
They have a lot of games
I'm a Halo fan. So for me, it's different personally.
Yeah,
I still
same.
care about Halo, and I
Yes.
still care about Halo more than the other IPs that they picked up. But I gotta look at it from the general perspective is that Dorian isn't exactly wrong here.
Right.
We'll probably see later on this year if Starfield has a bigger impact than Halo does.
Shout out to Brat with another $5 super chat. He on fire right now. I'm just waiting for those current gen only games for Series X. 2 years in waiting. Forte, that second Xbox Series X is still in the box. Well, I questioned you when you said you wanted the second one in the first place, but
Yeah. It does look like they'll have current gen only games before PlayStation though. So at least there's that.
Yeah.
Like that, they all the games that come out this year, none of them are natively coming to Xbox One. Redfall isn't, Starfield isn't, and for Sony, at the last one that we know that is still going to PlayStation 4 is God of War Ragnarok, and the other stuff that they've announced last year, like Wolverine, Spider-Man 2, stuff like those games are definitely going to be PS5 only, but those are so far off that they're not like, that's not like coming out next year or anything, or this year. So yeah.
So Lady Sion, she had another thing, and this was something that I actually wanted to bring up to you because it's about the pandemic and stuff. I feel like there are so many more factors in this than it just being said that Microsoft had a complete lockdown on them during the pandemic. People couldn't even go to the office. They just started going back to the office consistently last month. So I do have the one, and you know how hard I am on 343. That's the one thing I do have a soft spot when it does come to the development of this game. I do think that 343 had a huge they had a huge they were trying to do something huge with this game. They were really trying to push the envelope. They were working with a new engine. They were doing a lot of different things that all kind of happened at the same time. And then I do think them of most studios, and I know people keep saying, well, Insomniac released like 3 games in the middle of the pandemic, but I think they were probably, every studio kind of took to this differently from other places. We heard the stories about 343 when it came to being on pandemic watch and not being equipped to be able to work from home and stuff like that.
We heard a lot of stories about 343
Yeah, it's a lot of
before.
stuff that's been going on, especially like that. So I do think a lot of
But don't you think that would have been a better, like most of the companies that have been struggling with the pandemic, working from home, that kind of stuff, their games got delayed.
But that's the part that I said that I blame. That's the part where I said I can't really blame 343 for that. I blame Microsoft for that because Microsoft delayed it the first time. But I guarantee the way that the way that it ended up happening, it looks like Microsoft was. It wasn't like Microsoft said we are delayed until you get it done. It's like Microsoft went in there and said we'll delay it until the anniversary date, which is a year. What can you get done in a year? Because that's what it kind of seems like it came off as. Because I do believe if Joseph Staten had the time, the game would have probably got pushed out even further, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. But Microsoft put that, they kind of sat 343 with that situation, with that problem, and I think they did the best that they could do with it under the circumstances. It's not like a one size shoe fits all, but I do think the pandemic did have a lot to do. I think it impacted them more than most development houses. It still doesn't change the fact that it happened. It doesn't change the fact that people feel kind of like all types of certain ways about the way that the game is being done and the way it's being portrayed and stuff like that. But that also just falls back under the lines of, a personal preference and stuff. Like, if you enjoyed the game, you enjoyed the game. If it was stuff that was missing from the game, it was missing from the game. But people do have the right, after they spend their money, to voice their opinions and stuff. And like I said, this is basically just talking about, what do you think about the offerings that's being added to season 2? Now, season 1 withstanding, we all enjoyed it. We all played it. But, I think in Slow-Mo's defense, I think when it comes to season 2, he was expecting more. He was expecting the stuff that was supposed to come with it, which is campaign and like co-op and stuff like that. And that stuff's still not there. And when that's something, and that's one of the things that he's really looking forward to, that's something that he's going to hinge on compared to like other people like you guys in the chat. Campaign co-op might be something that you'll just dabble with, and it's not really a big deal for you. But I know people that's got friends that they want to play the game with, and that's like playing multiplayer for them. So everybody has a different perspective on this, and I appreciate all those different perspectives. But in general, it just comes down to whatever you feel about it, just go with it. And I appreciate that too. Let me see. RRD said he sent a super chat, but it didn't show up in the window. Let me.
RRD did?
Yeah, he said he sent one, but it didn't show up.
Is he certain that it came through?
It must have went through because it's not even showing in the viewer activity.
I don't see a wait.
Shout out to. Yeah, I don't see it. I'm sorry, bro. If you did, make sure that it actually went through on your end, because sometimes when you hit the super chat thing, it doesn't put it through as a super chat. He said, I got it.
Also, sometimes, go ahead.
Oh, he said he got a receipt in his email. Just type your, just
he
type
may
it,
need to
type it in. Yeah, type it into the chat and just at me on it, and I'll read it in here because it did not pop up for me. I'm sorry about that. Brat with the $5 super chat. Slow-Mo, Sony needs to release their exclusives day and date on PC so I can get rid of these boxes. PC greater than console.
Big facts there. That's what I'm talking
listen,
about.
I will.
Sony, go ahead. They know they want to do it.
Listen,
they know. No. They know they want to release day and date on PC.
They do.
Go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that so I can just play everything on my PC. That'd be great.
Shout out to lady saying with the $20 super chat, said this is for the great chat and Slow-Mo's passion. Great convo. Listen, man, that's what DPS is all about, man.
Salute to you. Salute to you. Great conversation.
Yeah, that's what DPS is about, man. We none of us have to agree with anything that anybody else says, but we respect each other in the end. And the biggest thing is, we love playing games because that's the only time this passion really truly comes out. Can you imagine being in the space trying to talk to people on Twitter? You wouldn't get this type of interaction because
Well, it
it's
would have
just
disconnected by
it would
now
have
as
right. It would
well,
have
and
disconnected by
mics
now.
wouldn't be heard correctly, and can't tell who's
Somebody would have
talking.
been
Twitter
called a
Spaces is
somebody would
awful.
have been called a B or something by now, and it would have been a fight or something. Who knows? A virtual
Mm.
fight. Let me see. RD says, okay, shout out to him. It was a $2 Canadian super chat. It just said, hello, still game of the year, still the best game ever, or something like that. So, whatever it was, man, I appreciate you, man. And when it does pop up, because it probably is going to pop up delayed or something for me. When it does pop up and you're here next week, we'll make sure that I'll tell Slomo to make sure he shots it out on his show next week when it's over there. But yeah, Slomo, I didn't know you had so much passion in you. I mean, I knew you had it, but I didn't know you was gonna have that much passion for what's going on with this game. But guess what? We're not done because we got one more thing we need to talk about when it comes to Halo, and it's an
Oh
older
boy.
game. It's the Master Chief Collection that is still getting massive updates. Even knowing their mainline franchise, well, they're both mainline, but their current mainline franchise has been going through the blues when it comes to the
No,
community and
I
stuff.
I do want to talk about this though. Like you talk about the massive update. I think you're talking about the fact that they finally got cross-play co-op
Yeah, they got
for.
crossplay co-op. They got the flood. They got the firefight flood mode added to it. A couple of sandbox changes, weapon tunings. They got a bunch of stuff added to the game.
Yeah, no, some of that stuff was stuff that like people asked for years ago, and they said they were working on it, and it's finally here, and we just talking about like things, wanting a roadmap and how long things may take to get done. Well, I mean, like, I hope this isn't an indication of how long some of these things will get done for Halo Infinite. I'm not saying it is or isn't, but some of those things were things in the Master Chief Collection that people were asking for a while. But I'm glad it's finally there, though. And I think there was something I saw the other day that said there are more people on, at least on the Steam, there are more people on the Master Chief Collection than Halo Infinite right now, which doesn't surprise me, honestly, because if there's not much going um, on the on Halo Infinite, why not go to the version of Halo that has like a gazillion maps?
More than a gazillion.
Yeah,
It's
and
a smorgasbord over there.
right. So it makes sense.
Yeah, so how do you feel about just in general them still update? Like I know it's like you said, there's a lot of community stuff. A lot of this stuff was already in production before they even announced the stuff that was going on with Halo Infinite. The stuff um for Master Chief Collection actually got delayed and now it's finally coming out. So, what is your thoughts on just them still being able to update the game? And they said that they still say that there's going to be consistent updates when it comes to features and stuff through 2022. When do you think we're going to see the end of development for Master Chief Collection, or do you think that there is, like, some people do have a right to the gripes that they feel that, hey, you should be focusing more on your newer game than your older
Yeah.
game?
Look, there's a lot of us have a lot of love for those older games, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm fine with a skeleton crew doing, your typical kind of server updates to kind of keep things going so that people can keep playing it. But I don't know how much of 343 is still working on the Master Chief Collection and how much our support studios working on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Saber Interactive, I think it was the one that did the port work to PC,
Mm-hmm.
and so that wasn't done in house at 343. I would hope far more people are working on Halo Infinite than Master Chief Collection.
Mm-hmm.
But if that isn't the case, then yeah, at some point in time, you're gonna have to start like shifting resources to what's more important. And I think even though Halo Infinite is brand new, and as far as like how people rank the campaign versus the other games, and so on and so forth, like people may not be looking at it like that, but um I mean people may not be thinking so highly of it as they think of the older games, but this is the one that's still in development. This is the one that's supposed to be live service, that's supposed to have consistent content coming out. You need to deliver there. And so if what you need to do is shift people off of a older game that's done. It's done. Like, we enjoy them, but the campaign's not going to change. Like the campaign for Halo 2 ain't, it's still going to have that cliffhanger ending. Like it's not changing. So like go put your resources to where they need to be, which is Halo Infinite. Like I agree with the people who are. I mean, I haven't really seen people talk about it, but if there are people out here that are like, "Yo, where is
It just started
why?"
over the last day because of the update for Halo Master Chief Collection hit yesterday.
Yeah. So like, look, yeah, I get it because I would, even though people don't know how development works and how you don't know how long certain people may have been working on that, and it would have been just like inefficient for them to just switch people off of something that they were working on for potentially months or years, just because they need more people working on Halo Infinite to get stuff out as quickly as possible. Let them finish what they're working on, and then when they're done with that, then you shift those teams and resources over to what is your current baby right now, which is your more important game, which is Halo Infinite, because I mean it's the more important game. Master Chief Collection is not more important than Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite needs to be successful for the Halo IP to be still considered an important IP in the video game industry. And so, whether, regardless of what we complain about, where we're not getting the content when we want to get it, definitely not going to get that if you're dividing your resources so heavily with an older game still getting a significant number of people working on it that could be working on your new game. Again, all that said, I don't know for certain who's working on what and what the split is. And it could be all support studios working on Master Chief Collection. If that's the case, then so be it.
All right.
But yeah.
No, and I agree with that. Let's see. Big Mo says, Slow Mo, how do y'all feel about certain Affinity knowing they've been working on Halo longer than 343 anyway? That's what I was
Um
that's what I was
I,
just talking about earlier.
yeah, I heard that Certain Affinity was doing a potential battle royale mode or something like that. Did
Yeah.
you hear that? Yeah.
Yep.
So look, I don't.
That's supposedly the one that's called the last Spartan standing mode, the rumored name of it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I hope that's the case. Um. Yeah. I mean, look, I hope that's the case.
Do you think it
Because
needs a battle
I think
royale?
about I think a battle royale would be really helpful in getting them to get a lot of eyes on the game,
Hmm.
and I think a battle royale would be cool. I wouldn't mind playing a battle royale.
I would definitely
And
play it.
yeah.
I just want them. The thing that I kind of miss, I miss. What was the name of the PVE PvP mode that they had in what was that? Halo Infinite? I mean Halo 5?
Firefight.
Not Firefight. No, where you had other players and it was the versus the environment.
It's on the tip of my tongue. I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah, I
Yeah. Yeah.
can't
Go
remember
ahead.
the name of it. I really wish oh, Warzone. Yeah, it was called Warzone. Yeah, dang.
Yeah.
Uh,
Warzone. Good
yeah,
grief. Yeah.
because you know what it was is because I didn't want to call it Warzone because of Call of Duty Warzone. But yeah, it was called Warzone, and I really liked that mode a lot. Like to the point where when Bungie made their Gambit game mode for Destiny, it was off of the back of what they saw 343 make for Warzone. Now, Gambit was a more intimate experience. It wasn't like as wide open as like the huge maps you had in Warzone when it came to Halo 5. But I always thought that that was a really good starting point because that's where they introduced like all the power-ups and stuff like that and the variants, and you could be able to play and pick them up as you accumulate points and taking out bosses and stuff like that. I always thought that that was a really, really cool part of it. And then they can now, especially with this rumor with Certain Affinity working on this last Spartan standing mode, they can implement a lot of the PvE side of that inside of just the game mode itself. So not only are you fighting against other Spartans, but you also gotta, go against, elites and stuff like that, other, enemy factions inside of it. There's a lot of different ways they can go with it. The thing about Halo, which is kind of interesting, we talk about how Sea of Thieves, Sea of Thieves has a lot of content in it now, like compared to what it was when it was just a boat in an ocean with really good looking water and a Kraken that was lacking. It's come a long way. It's got a lot of stuff in it. Like the fact that they just celebrated, I forget how many, 1 million pirate legends that finally hit into that game, and just all the content that just actually breathed into that game. Halo has the opportunity of being something massive within the next couple of years. It just really just depends on how fast they can get the content out and get to that point, because you're at a point now where a lot of these these multiplayer only games like Fortnite and Apex Legends and stuff like that, yeah, they have a really good mode, and when it comes to their battle royale. But if 343 can get Halo to a point where people really just want to be in that world, you got a campaign part, you're going to have your forge. God forbid if they ever bring Firefight over and stuff like that, they have an opportunity to really make this game big, like really, really big, bigger than any game they ever made in the past. And I do think that's the thing that myself and a lot of other people are holding out for, because we know how big this franchise can be. But when it comes to what's going on with Master Chief Collection, I'm not really mad about that, because I do think a lot of that stuff was already in pre-production. And I do think, like someone in the chat said, I think it was Mitchy Poe said it. He thinks this, or Mitchy Dies a Lot said it, it's going to be pretty much a skeleton crew at this point on that game. And I even think they said that to a point. They just said it's going to be some frequent updates, but I don't think anything as massive as what they just brought out for this update. I think this is probably the last major update you're going to get for the MCC. And then from there, they're just pretty much off speed ahead on Halo Infinite. But I'm looking forward to, because when's the last time you played Master Chief Collection, Slow-Mo?
It's been a while. I haven't played it since Halo Infinite came out, but before Halo Infinite came out, I was doing a lot of like preparing for Halo Infinite, and by going into the PvP for Master Chief Collection and playing some. I was doing that and playing Halo Guardians with people out here in the community like Eric Cuts for the win, and her troubleshooters. I was playing a lot of some Warzone, some basic PvP and Guardians and Master Chief Collection. So but it hasn't been since launch, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to go back to it, but they made some really good changes. I jumped in on it on PC to play it and stuff. And the funny thing is, on PC, it's really good to play over there compared to Halo Infinite. I wouldn't play Halo Infinite on PC if you paid me to do it, because keyboard and mouse controller is just so much better. If you're going to play Halo, play with a controller over there. Big Mad Bo says, isn't the lead at Certain Affinity the guy who made some of the most iconic maps in Halo? I know they did the revamp of Midship in Halo 3. I know they did that. I know there's a couple other maps they did. I just can't think of the names of them. But yeah, they did do a lot of really, really good, iconic remakes of some of the original maps from the original Halo and Halo 2. They were very instrumental in the remake or the remaster of Halo 2 when they brought some of that stuff over. But Halo's always got really really good people behind it. Blur doing the animations and the cutscenes for the game. I mean, it looks like a freaking movie when you watch it. So it's a lot of things that a lot of people are looking forward to. But Slomo, what else do you have on this before we move over to the next thing?
No, that's it, man. I'm ready to go.
You ready?
We can move on to the next one.
All right. Let's talk about this last thing. I made a video on this, man. Skill-based matchmaking. Is it good for gaming? You play shooters, I play shooters. That's predominantly where it's in everything. It's in fighting games. It's in everything. Pretty racing games. Skill-based matchmaking is a part of everything. What is your thoughts on skill-based matchmaking in general? Its place inside of gaming, and do you feel like it needs to be there? Or if it is, what do you think needs to change about it?
Okay, so skill-based matchmaking is always a difficult conversation when it comes to multiplayer games because it's never there's never everyone satisfied, right? There's always the hardcore top end players that don't want it because they want to be able to dominate on people that are not as good as them, don't have enough time in the game as them, not as skilled. They want to be able to they get like a 10.0 KD, you know, every other match.
As they should.
When you implement skill-based matchmaking and you implement it in a way where it allows the common player to be able to play the game at people who are of the same level and have the opportunity to win and enjoy themselves, it then forces the top end players to play each other. And they only play each other. Now, there are drawbacks to that. I don't think a drawback is that you're forced to be sweaty. Like, I understand there's some people to be like, hey, man, I don't like being sweaty every match. I feel like that in Road Company. When I was just playing Road Company earlier, with shout out to Elder Cat and his brother, we're all three of us are very good. So when we all play together, everyone we play against are people like us. And every match we played earlier today, sweaty as heck. I'm just like, good grief. Because when I play by myself, I'm mixed with people who are good, but it's like how High Res does their skill-based matchmaking, the more people who are like my level that are in my party, the more they make sure that we're going up against full stacks, even though it's just three of us. And so it's like, I get it, but then I don't want to, just because I have to bring my A game in every match, feel like, nah, man, give me that guy that's a level 5 and I'm a level 258. Nah, yeah, let me go uplift my ego for destroying him, 5 million times. For what? All I'm doing is really hurting the game because I destroy that guy. I'm dancing on his face. He don't want to play the game no more. And look, I've seen this happen in multiple games where the top end players don't want things to change. They don't want skill-based matchmaking. They don't want the level things out. They don't want to play people on their own level. And what all it ends up doing is getting the common player to no longer play the game. And so I think it's necessary, but you gotta do it right. And I think, not to harp on Halo again, but Halo skill-based matchmaking was not done right. Because the MMR that they have was affecting ranked from what you did in casual. That shouldn't be the case.
Mm-hmm.
What's the purpose of me doing placement matches for my first 10 ranked matches if you're not going to match me up against people of my own level based off upon, like, there was proof that people did 10 matches against the bots and then went up against people who were not even platinum level doing 10 matches against bots, going to ranked, and they're playing against
Diamond.
No, higher than
Oh,
diamond. It's the
Onyx.
Onyx ranked players, and it's like what? That's not supposed to happen. And 343 admitted that wasn't supposed to happen. Like it's the issues with skill based matchmaking isn't that it's there. It's that sometimes it's not implemented correctly, and that's things that gotta get fixed. I also think that like so since we're on the subject, I almost did a video on this, but I decided not to. But like, this is why some, instead of doing skill based matchmaking, some developers decide to implement like a buffer,
Mm-hmm.
a protection for new players. And this protection is in the form of like for Splitgate and for what's the other game that did this recently too? Oh my god, my brain is there was another game that had bots in it. Fortnite, my bad, Fortnite. Okay,
Fortnite.
so look, so we were talking about it. Let's talk about Fortnite last week. But like, so Fortnite and Splitgate do this thing where they try to protect the new players from the veterans. And so instead of having skill-based matchmaking or a form of that, so to speak, what they do have is uh, up to a certain point, you're faced up against new players and bots. And so with Splitgate, up to like level 15, you will only play against brand new players like yourself or bots. And so it gives I'll get back to how that's really unfortunate for Splitgate and for new players when they get out of that new player bot pool and realize what the game's really like in a minute. But Fortnite does it too. They actually have a formula where it's like, it's 100 players in the world in the battle royale arena, and when you first start, 75 of them are bots, and then up to a certain point, then it goes down to 35. Then it goes down to like 10 or 25, and then it's just all players.
Mm-hmm.
And for when Fortnite didn't have the build mode, and for Splitgate, that's unfortunate because people get a impression. New players get an impression of what the game is like, but they don't really. It's not really what the game is like. And here's why I say that in Fortnite, but in regular Fortnite, not the no build mode, you shoot at somebody and they build a castle in front of you.
Yeah, that's true.
But when you're a new player, you don't know how to do that. And other new players don't know how to do that. So when you finally run against, some real players and you just like, how's he doing this?
Where's the Taj
Like,
Mahal come from?
right. So now you just found what the real Fortnite is like. And you've been putting all these hours into a game that's not really what it's like. And you can't there used to be I used to see threads of people like, how do I go back to the bots? 'Cause I don't want to be here anymore. Because they're destroying me. They they build around me and they jump down and shotgun me. I don't know how to do this stuff, right? And some people aren't going to just get good. And that really is what it comes down to. You need to just get better. But I think the false sense of security and the false sense of you think you're getting good. And now I'm gonna go back to Splitgate.
Mm-hmm.
When you play with Splitgate with bots and new players, you and all those new players know how to use portals correctly. You don't know the maps well enough to know where the portal. Veteran players like myself don't run around the map. We portal around the map. And people when new players run up against veteran players and they like, man, it's cheesy that this guy portaled behind me and shot me dead through the portal. But that's how the game is played. But you didn't know that because you've been playing against new players in bots and they've been running around like it's Call of Duty. And see, that's not what the game is. And that's like all these methods to try to protect players from the veterans. It's just trying to hide the fact that like you don't know how to implement a real skill-based matchmaking. Like you have to have some kind of buffer there because people want to enjoy the game. Guys, when someone decides to play Destiny for the first time, he shouldn't run into Forte. He should not run into Forte for a long time unless he gets good enough to be in the same match with Forte. That's the way it should work.
Yeah. It be getting
Like,
bad out there too.
and it's just like it just that's just the way it should work. When you're ready to be good enough to be in the same area where you can fight that guy, then you're in that pool, and you should be happy to do that, happy to go to get a challenge, not just beat up on scrubs. Like I never get that mentality. Like I was absolutely cool going up against all the content creators Splitgate had all the time. I was cool with it. I would get the better of them sometimes. For the most part, they was bodying me. And then in the times when I would play, like I didn't have fun playing with my friends because like that's when I was getting like 30 kills and 0 deaths. And I'm like, that wasn't even a challenge. That like I don't that's not fun, you know? So like maybe it's just me that I like I want a challenge to have fun, but I don't think indulging the top 1% of a game's player base and not having skill-based matchmaking, which is what Bungie did with Destiny, was smart.
Right.
Because all they did was just give these guys license to punk new players and unskilled players. It is what it is. Like I've been running my mouth.
Well, no,
What do you think about this?
I think when it comes to Bungie, I think that was more a community driven thing. And you're right. I do think they made the decision, but they also basically tried to tell the community, like, okay, you say you want this, you say you want, because the biggest thing is it's like, it's not, sometimes it's not even really the skill based part of it. It's more of like when you are in certain regions, you're always going to be stuck playing against people in that region because it's going to always try to give you people that's close to you. And if those people that are close to you are people that are on the other side of the world, I guess, because of the geographical where you live at, you have a bad time and you're always playing the same people over and over again. And that kind of gets frustrating. So I do know when it came, especially to Bungie, that was a big conversation. And they tried to tell the community, like, hey, y'all, we don't want to do that. But then they said, well, we did it. And now you guys are complaining about it more than ever before. Before they didn't have, when they did have skill base in there. So skill base is just one of those things that kind of has to happen. I do, because how are you going to balance a room? The reason that rooms are so unbalanced now in all of these games and stuff is because they don't have that implemented in there. How are you supposed to, put a person that's a god in one room next to a person that is literally a turtle walking around and don't know what he's doing? That's kind of a part of the process of playing a game. You have to learn how to, play it before you actually can really like enjoy the game a lot. But that's the thing about it though. For the most part, it just really comes down to just time. The more time you put into something, the more you're going to learn it. Some people are inherently better than other people when it comes to shooters and other games like fighting games and stuff like that. The MLR is another thing that they have in order to break up people when it comes to gameplay and skill-based matchmaking. I do think the one thing I want to see these games implement more is a ranking system. The ranking system I do think helps with the skill-based matchmaking.
Yeah, you gotta have something like that. Yeah,
because and I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to Destiny. They have competitive game modes, but they don't have a rank mode where this is literally the try as hard game mode. Like some people think trials and stuff like that is like the PvP experience, and I was like, no, that's really not it. It's that those playlists are almost easier to be in than it is to be in some of the quick play playlists, because the quick play playlist is like feast or famine for the most part. It's kind of crazy over there sometimes. Where trials is based on your win card. So the higher you get up in wins, the more harder the games get because you're going against people that are trying to get to 7 wins without any losses. So that's a really good implementation of what they're doing. But I think Halo 3 still to this day, and I still haven't seen a ranking system better than Halo 3's. Halo 3's
That's
ranking
true.
system is the most incredible. It's hard to say. 2007 was a long time ago, but that was one of the best ranking systems I've ever had in a video game when it comes to a shooter. Like if you saw somebody running around with a caressive moon as their emblem, you knew that person was a beast. Because the difference between a 49, because the caressive moon was a 50, the difference between a 49 and a 50 was a light year in that game. Like you could try all you wanted to be a level 50 in Halo, but if you weren't good enough, you would never get it because it was an inherent different. It wasn't just a number. It was literally a representation of your skill. And if you were good enough, you would get it. And that was another reason why Halo ended up resetting the seasonal ranks for everybody mid-season because they had so many outliers out there. Like Slow-Mo said, you had people out there that did their placement matches and they were being placed in Diamond and Platinum 5 and stuff like that, knowing that they had no business being ranked where they were ranked at. And then they're in there playing against God tier people and they're having horrible experiences and they're complaining about the matchmaking. So,
but even further than that, like it's even after you're placed. Let's say this is what people are doing. This is why people were upset with it because you can game it. You can change things. You can. So, for example, let's say you're placed in Diamond, right?
yeah.
You could go into social and intentionally bomb in social, then go back to ranked, and now you're going up against people who aren't as good.
Yeah.
So even though you're Onyx ranked, you're not going up against Onyx players, or even though you're Diamond ranked, you're not going up against Diamond players,
Mm-hmm.
and it's because the casual playlist and the casual pool and your results in that are affecting the rank pool, and that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, DJ says there's a happy medium Halo 3 system. Dorian Gray says playing Apex on agent servers lag and no lifers.
I know this might be seem unpopular, but I like Reach's system too.
Oh, Reach had a really good system too. It's just
I like Reach's system.
I really like their system. It was just when you compare it to Halo 3 was just that good. But Reach was really good too. I really like Reach's too. And that was the thing. Bungie doesn't really, and I think that's another thing that kind of frustrates people about Bungie in particular. They had the formula with Halo and they refused to go. I guess they just don't want to go back to I guess they consider it a relic of its past. But if the relic of its past works, why not use it? But
well, I mean, to be fair here, have they really been paying attention to people PvP at all?
Oh well,
honestly?
listen. That was another thing that I mentioned. It's like at a certain point, do they really care?
Yeah. I don't know if it was hard to believe that they cared at all about PvP for years. So
well,
now
900 almost 900 days without a new map.
Yeah, so now look, we
900 days,
talking about
bro.
343. At least 343 is dropping 2 maps.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. You ain't
like Bungie out here like new maps for what? So it's that's unacceptable. If you're a PvP Destiny player, you're man.
Yeah.
you've been through it because you don't get anything from them. Every update is PvE related.
Rouzier says, the thing I hate about COD's SBMM is they don't even explain where you stand. And that's the one thing that I will say I do hate when they do that. It's like, because how do you know you don't even know what your improvement level is unless you go to a third-party website that happens to show what your actual numbers are. You know, because even Halo Infinite doesn't do it in game. I mean, outside of your rank, like your actual, it shows like what pool you're in when it comes to like platinum and diamond and onyx, but you can't see you can't see other players' ranks. Well, you can see them after the game, can't you, Slow Mo? Do they show them after the game? Like if you go to the scoreboard, does it show players ranks and stuff in game?
In which game?
Halo Infinite.
Okay, look, it's not supposed to, but every now and then it does show.
Every now and then. That's
Yeah,
what I thought.
so every now and then at the end, at the post match, you'll see the team MMR, and then you'll see. I don't know if you can see individual MMRs or not. You can definitely see the team MMR, and then you could kind of be like, "Yo, why were we?" Sometimes it will see like it's only like a few points off, but
you see
it
sometimes
creates
it's like a
imbalances, huh?
Then you see sometimes it's a light year off.
Yeah, it's like a full 1,000 points off from the other. Like, how did we even get matched up with this team, right? But also using just the team MMR, and this came from actually I can't remember who said this, but it was a combat designer. I can't remember for which game they said it for, but regardless, the point of what his statement about Halo's MMR was that it's not exactly a very great system for all situations. Because what if you have, like, say, a team where there's two really good players, a decent player, and an absolutely horrible player on the team? Okay, that horrible player drops the MMR down
Yeah.
significantly to the point where now you're being matched up against people that are not really like it's not a fair fight because that horrible player is just feeding kills, or regardless of whatever the mode is, they're outmatched, and that team is imbalanced because of that. Or what if you're just that good and you get matched up with like three horrible players, but your MMR is so high that these three horrible players are with you against four players that they don't have a chance with, and you're saddled with those players as you're trying to carry the team.
Yeah.
See, like, it's those kind of imbalances that kind of like happen. So it's just like this is what I was saying. Like, the whole skill-based matchmaking conversation is so it's a conversation that can go on all night, honestly, but there's
Yeah.
really like no big real answers to like how to do it the best way. But we see so many examples of how it went wrong
Yeah,
that we
that's
end up like
you end up in the
saying, you
same
gotta
spot.
change this.
Yeah.
You need to change this. But it's just like, change it to what? What works?
Yeah.
And we could say like the Halo 3 system works, but I think, actually, now I remember it now, I think it was one of the developers from Bungie that worked on that system that said it was good, but it wasn't perfect.
Oh, absolutely.
And
It definitely
and
wasn't perfect. Perfect.
and I see some people and someone in the chat said that, like, hey, Bungie made the Halo 3 system. Like, uh do they have nothing really for Destiny? And this, you know,
Great question.
that was a long. I mean, I can't answer. I don't know why.
That's a great question. I mean,
But
that's the
like,
question I'm always
maybe the
asking.
people who developed that for Halo 3
Ain't there no
don't
more?
work there anymore. Maybe they don't work for Bungie or 343. So, who knows what they're doing now. Shout out to Deli in the chat.
Oh,
Said
here
no
you go.
system as good as CS:GO's ELO system. I never played Counter-Strike, so
It's
I don't know.
ELO system. Their ELO system's pretty good. And shout out to Deli for showing up literally when we get ready to end the show.
Of course.
Unless he's been, but he's gonna say I've been sitting here for like 40 minutes listening to y'all. I just decided to say something. Shout out to you.
Yeah, probably.
No, but Slow Mo, it's been a good show, man. Lot. I love Fiery Slow Mo. When Fiery Slow Mo comes out, I know we're gonna have a good. We always have a good show, but I know it's gonna be even better. But appreciate you as always. But chat, this is episode 79 of the podcast. Really appreciate all you guys coming out. Shout out to all the super chats. Shout out to everybody in the chat having this conversation going. We had over, wow, what did we have? 51 people at one point. and a lot of people talking in the chat, and that's always appreciated. We really appreciate all the love and support you guys give us on the channel. Slow Mo, let these wonderful people know what's going on your channel and where they can find you at.
A little over a week ago, I dropped a Elden Ring review video. And this is coming from someone who is not a Souls fan. So I think it's a review that anyone could take a look at and check out and see if Elden Ring is for you or not, or just have a comment about some of the stuff I touched on. So check that out if you haven't already. I'm working on a video that talks about kind of helps people understand what game engines are. I'm working on that, and I'm also going to be soon having a review for Horizon Forbidden West. So look out for those on my channel, as well as DPS. Next week, episode 80 will be on my channel. Same time Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, as usual. Before I great job, bro, hosting, and I hope you guys, if I don't talk to you until then, have a great one.
Absolutely, man. Really appreciate you. Always look forward to Thursdays with you and Saturdays, because those are the 2 days I know I'm going to see you, because you don't call me during the week. But
oh my God, here we go.
Don't call your mama, but you don't call me. That's okay. I understand.
As I should call my mama. Why would I?
You call your mama Luca?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, now you don't know who your mama is.
I think my mama. My mama lives about 15 minutes away from me. I talk to her on a daily basis.
DJ, I can't call you. You never sent me your phone number, so I can't call you. Yeah, shout out to you, Rodimus. Great job too. You always know what to do to spur up the conversation in the chat. Same thing to you, Fuzzy. Really appreciate you. Dorian Gray, shout out to you. Percolator 9000 says, Slow Mo, give me back my points.
Perk, you never had them points. Stop it. He does this all the time.
I am a rich swag lord. Shout out to you, man. Thanks for coming through. Appreciate all of you guys. And make sure you hit us up on Twitter. Make sure you hit us up on Xbox Live if you got us. I'm always available, showing online, not so much Slow Mo. So if you don't see him, just send him 1,000 messages at Slow Mo backslap on Xbox Live. He'll sooner or later he'll answer you. He's never appearing online, so he's really there, y'all, all the time. But he'll be there after the show's over playing video games. So we will see you guys next week on Slow Mo's channel. For myself, you're already on the channel. Sub to the channel if you haven't. Like the video on your way out, and yeah, check out the last 2 videos I made, especially if you're into the Destiny content scene. Did a video on what they're doing when it comes to animated TV shows, hopefully. And then my conversation on skill-based matchmaking I did. And then I got a video talking about the rotator for the raids coming out tomorrow, because they're finally going to implement the fact that we can farm all the raids starting next season and get all the loot at all the time, which is something they should have been gave to us, but they didn't till now. But it's cool. So check that out. And other than that, we will see you guys next week for episode 80 on Slow Mo's channel. Enjoy the games that you're playing, and have a good weekend. Peace.